countries in the world that have more women in power tend to be more tolerant and democratic. And for me, that's an entry point.
It's important for us as a society, for students here at AUB, to recognize that, you know, there's a half of society that we don't really know much about, that we don't really think much about. We have prioritized, whether it's at the level of knowledge production or whether it's a level of policy making, the male or the man as the universal subject.
I think society itself is traditional. In a way, sexism is pretty rooted in our culture.
You don't talk to people about ideas, about equality or equality. You practice it. You teach it by example. It's really committing to the people and to the human lives.
AUB's philosophy behind the gender initiative operates along 3 axes: pedagogy, research, and community engagement. So it is about dealing or thinking about gender inequality and gender-specific issues along these 3 lines.
AUB is in the process of developing a gender studies program, which is extremely important for women empowerment through education. But I think this has to be bridged with participation in public life.
I'm doing a study on the lives of 100 women through biographical interviews with these women, and it's a project, it's a grant from the School of Business that's called Knowledge is Power initiative.
Knowledge is Power, otherwise known as the KIP project, is really about giving voice to those marginalized groups and marginalized communities in order to create a participatory citizenship and participatory environment, whether that be within the university or an organization or nationally.
I kept my interest and I kept my activist hat, except now I try to do it through my research and try to look really what are the problems. Why is it that women are not represented in parliament and in the cabinet today, while women are very active in the judiciary system, they're very active in the non-profit sector, they're very active in the media sector. What is it about politics that's so patriarchal, that's so sectarian, that it's keeping women away?
We work with the mostly underserved communities across Lebanon, and if I'm to assess most of our project, you'll find out that at least 80% of our project are being led by women in the most sensitive areas that we work in Lebanon.
Once you empower women, you get a shortcut to rural development. They play an extremely important role in all kinds of activities in a rural area. And more importantly, they have a direct impact on their families and the education of their kids.
A lot of our work has to do with political theater and theater that really aims at change. I think this is one of the roles of theater, to actually put things under the spotlight and allow people the distance and the chance to reflect on it and to engage in a dialogue with their own problems and issues. Hopefully this will, plant some seeds for change in the minds and hearts of the audiences.
The academic studies that we might develop, no matter what their origins are, would become relevant if they are crafted in such a way that they speak to our realities.
I'm really pleased to be able to work on these things, specifically from AUB. You do know that we admitted women into university before the Stanfords and the Harvards of the world.
Title IX is gender equity civil rights legislation. It offers broad protections. It applies to everyone, students, faculty, staff. It prohibits all forms of discrimination. But in fact, AUB's policies are extremely progressive, and they provide protections against many forms of discrimination based on race, religion, national origin.
To achieve our highest potential through university life, it's important to have an open, inclusive, and tolerant environment.
I thought Title IX would be a great platform for me to actually take action.
Any type of discrimination is not acceptable, especially in this university.
Research proves there's a direct link. Having more women in political office means having more policies that are fair, both for gender equity and for social equity.
Transforming education is central to social and political transformation more broadly. And to get to social transformation, you start with the change at the level of ideas, at the level of perceptions. And this is where AUB as an educational institution, as a liberal arts college, can play a very significant role.